Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its mission, to explore strange new worlds, to discover new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Spock, where do you think we should start looking for this? Brassica?
Logic suggests that they will present us with opportunities to come to them.
Captain, a message from Starfleet.
On screen.
Captain, the USS Regulus has been forced to cancel its survey mission to the Antares Rift. We've decided to redirect the Enterprise to that mission. The USS Hood will take over for your current assignment.
Of course, the Antares Rift has a rather dangerous reputation.
Nothing the Enterprise can't handle. But be careful. Starfleet out.
Welcome back to Let's Play Star Trek Judgement Rites. It's been a while, but we're back, and hopefully for good until it's finished. So this takes off pretty much right after the last episode, I think, with the Alphans and Omegans, and the second test, at least, that we know about from the Brassicans. The first being the Belcosians and their evolution being affected. So let's get some...
Hailing frequencies are open, Captain.
Alright, so let's get some feedback from Mr. Spock here.
The Antares Rift. It should be a most interesting assignment.
How so, Spock?
There have been several attempts to chart it. All expeditions into the Rift vanished without a trace.
But those expeditions were years ago. Our starships are far more capable than they were during the time of those attempts.
Captain, a 10-year-old child is far more capable than a 3-year-old child. But there are many problems that neither child can solve.
Not a good outlook.
I have consulted the log entries on the Rift in our computer. I would recommend that you do the same, even though they do not provide that much additional information.
We shall follow his advice.
Antares Rift, an area of unstable space near the star Antares. Little is known of its properties. There have been numerous disappearances in this area.
Wow, that gave us nothing. Nothing for the Hood. And nothing on the Regulus either. That's something I miss from 25th Anniversary, is all the flavor text. They seem to have done away with that in this version. Yeah, nothing... Really nothing we can look up, so I guess we'll just dive right into the mission then. Start surveying.
Captain's log, stardate 6257.6. We have entered the Antares Rift and found spatial disruptions in the rift that make using warp engines extremely dangerous. Repairs are almost complete on the minor damage we suffered upon entry into the rift. We are continuing our survey using impulse engines.
My poor babies. Warp engines were meant to be used, Captain.
Communications are back online, Captain.
Deflectors at 93% power and increasing.
Captain, undoubtedly that phenomenon would explain many of the strange disappearances in this sector. Still, with our warp engines deactivated, our computers indicate we will be safe.
Communications are out again, Captain. Is anyone hurt?
If he was human, Mr. Spock's pride might be...
Captain, sensors failed to indicate anything unusual prior to the explosion. I would speculate that it was caused by an extremely unusual rift in the space-time continuum, a place where radically different physical laws apply.
And since it was different space-time, our sensors weren't programmed to detect it.
And it could happen again at any time without warning.
Alright, so let's take a look at our situation here.
This door leads to the turbo lift. The damage readout for the Enterprise has gone crazy. There are obviously problems with the ship's damage registers. Mr. Scott's home away from home, aka engineering. This allows access to some of the more important engineering functions from the bridge, most notably damage control systems and emergency power and internal sensors. Ensign Walker came to the bridge to discuss discrepancies in the last damage control report. He now wishes he was elsewhere. Mr. Scott wonders how he'll look like a miracle worker this time. Mr. Scott's home away...
That's the same dialogue.
Mr. Sulu has complete faith in his captain, who has gotten them out of worse predicaments than this. James Kirk worries about the safety of his ship. Mr. Chekhov sometimes wishes he had a safer occupation, like handling antimatter. This is the ship's helm station. From here, the helmsman can control the ship's shields and its orbital heading. This is the ship's navigation station. This is Chekhov's pride and joy, allowing him to enter the ship's headings and to prepare the weapons in the Enterprise's, fortunately few, space battles.
Seems really inefficient the way they have things split up. I think TNG era got that a lot better with, you know, all navigation done by one person, weapons and shields done by one person. Sensors were kind of shared by both Worf and Data, but I think that's just a necessity of Worf's job. You know, he kind of needs to see things. Yeah.
This is where Kirk sits. The captain's log is stored here, as well as a record of landing party assignments. This is the ship's helm station. From here, the helmsman can control the ship's shields and its orbital heading. The damage readout for the Enterprise has gone crazy. There are obviously problems with the ship's damage registers. Ship's short-range sensor display for the science station. Now all it is displaying is static. Ship's long-range sensor display for the science station. Now all it is displaying is static. The communications station. This is where Lieutenant Uhura is normally located. This is the second time that hailing frequencies have gone down today. Lieutenant Uhura is not having a good day. This is the science station, where Spock scans anomalies and operates the ship's library computer. Mr. Spock is trying to determine a way to detect the rifts before the Enterprise is destroyed. James Kirk worries about the safety of his ship.
Alright, so thoughts, everyone. Let's get a report on what's happening here.
Scotty, what's our status?
Very bad, Captain. Whatever hit the Enterprise hit us right in our own neighborhood. The hull is breached 6 meters from the bridge. Beyond that, the instruments are useless. I can't read or send anything through these controls. We'll need a starbase to make this bridge functional again.
Scotty, how about auxiliary control?
Captain, I cannot determine the status of anything beyond the place where the rupture occurred. The rest of the ship could be dead as far as we know.
That's not good. It also shows that they should have had redundant pathways from the bridge to the rest of the ship. You'd think they would have learned that in the 20 years that the ship has been in service. Certainly, especially since she's gone through, what, 2 wars by this point? Anyways.
Ideas, Mr. Walker?
I'm a security guard, sir, not an idea man. Still, if we could send out probes to detect these rifts, we might get a better idea on whether they're moving or not, and whether we should stop and make repairs, or keep moving.
Status, Mr. Sulu.
Helm is not responding, Captain. The controls are completely dead.
We need to make communicating with the rest of the ship our first priority. Status, Mr. Chekhov.
Captain, navigation is not responding. The circuits are as lifeless as a Stalinist.
Gotta love Chekhov's Russian comparisons.
Any ideas, Lieutenant?
I was barely able to reroute the necessary connections last time, Captain. Communications are completely useless now. We may be able to enter codes into the library computer and instruct others to send messages to us.
Captain, I believe I may be able to adjust the sensors to detect these spatial rifts and pilot the Enterprise to avoid them. However, the sensors are too heavily damaged here. I will need to get to auxiliary control as soon as possible if I am to reroute the necessary systems.
Mr. Spock, the bulkheads were breached just outside of the bridge. No one's going to be able to leave the bridge for at least an hour unless they're transported out.
Alright, well, first thing we can try is access...
Captain's log, supplemental. Things are a complete mess on the bridge, with little immediate hope for improvement.
I take it we just can't take the turbo lift out.
We're not getting out of here that way.
Yeah. Alright, Mr.
No, I don't think that's necessary. No, I don't think that's necessary.
There we go. Mr. Spock. See if you can program the library computer like Uhura suggested.
Captain, the library computer is online. Apparently, its circuits were shielded from the explosion. Captain, I have managed to program a message into the library computer. The first time a person accesses the computer, they will read our distress signal. Hopefully, they can code a reply into the computer, which we can access. Captain, the transporters are operational. I request permission to be transported, so I can begin the adjustments to sensors as soon as possible.
Go ahead, Spock. No, Spock, I'll go first. Go ahead, Spock.
Well, I mean, it's not like we'll do any good there, so...
Spock!
The fuck?
Captain, that thing with the 4 arms wasn't Mr. Spock, was it? That beam wasn't some sort of transmutation beam, was it?
I don't think so, Mr. Walker. But the two have to be connected.
Aren't they always?
Captain, we need to get off the bridge. I recommend we keep monitoring the science station and see if anyone answers our messages.
Captain, what was that thing?
I don't know, Mr. Chekhov, but I intend to find out.
Captain, this bridge is useless. For our own sake as well as Spock's, we have to find a way to get out of here.
The controls are still not functioning, Captain.
Spock, what happened to him?
Alright, Mr. Sulu, check the library computer, see if anyone's seen our messages.
I'm patching your log into the computer. You should have voice messages.
Captain, we've managed to jury-rig an evacuation tube through the bridge turbo lift. We should be able to keep it stable long enough for you to be evacuated.
I'm patching your log in.
Captain.
Okay.
Captain's log, supplemental.
Nothing new on the log, so get the hell out of here. Thank you, Chief Roberts. Chief Kyle. I think his name was Kyle Roberts, but... Alright, so we have a bridge which is damaged, but apparently accessible. Interesting. You can go to auxiliary control, the transporter room, sick bay, or engineering. Auxiliary control, I think, is our first priority, so let us head there first.
Captain's log. After equipping ourselves with tricorders and phasers, we are now searching for a way to find Spock and return him to us. I've determined that the best place to start
Captain, it's a very good thing we took the warp engines offline.
How bad is it, Scotty?
That explosion was 42% stronger than the one that struck near the bridge. Our left warp nacelle is crippled, Captain.
I hope it's not a trend. Keep me posted, Mr. Scott. Kirk out.
Alright, let's check in on everyone who's not with us. Oh, that is not what I wanted to use.
Kirk to Scott. Come in, Scott.
Captain, I got bad news for you. This rift is affecting the hull of the ship. Our hull integrity is dropping fast.
How bad is it, Scotty?
It's at 92% and dropping rapidly. According to our system specs, if it drops below 63%...
Put as much powers as you can to the shields. Use them to support our hull integrity. Divert as much power as you can to the sensors. Let's find out what's causing this. Evacuate all people from the outer decks. Divert power from life support on those decks evenly to shields and sensors. Put as much powers as you can to the shields. Use them to support our hull integrity.
I feel like the ship's sensors won't be solving this problem, so let's make our hull integrity last as long as possible.
That will probably only buy us a few minutes, Captain.
Do it, Scotty. Every minute counts. Kirk out.
Alright, so...
Kirk to Scott.
Captain, the hull degradation is continuing. It's currently below 92%, but at the rate it's dropping, we have less than an hour before the ship is destroyed.
Alright.
Kirk to Scott. Come in, Scott. Kirk to Uhura. Come in, Lieutenant.
Captain, I've moved operations to Galileo 2 shuttlecraft. I've sent a message to Starfleet Command, and I've rerouted internal communications to run from here.
Lieutenant Uhura, what happens if the shuttle bay is hit by an explosion? That's one of the most vulnerable areas on the ship.
That's a risk I'm prepared to take, Mr. Sulu. I've activated the shuttle's shields for protection.
Good. Be prepared to evacuate the shuttle on my signal. Kirk out. Kirk to Scott. Kirk to Uhura.
Captain, the rift is providing subspace interference. It's rather unusual. It's as though the interference were coming from subspace itself. I've never seen anything quite like it.
If Mr. Spock were here, he'd probably find it fascinating. Keep trying to break through and report anything else that's unusual to me. Kirk out.
Alright, so that
Kirk
should
to Scott. Come in, Scotty.
take care of
Kirk
those
to
two.
sick bay. Bones, where are you?
Jim, what the devil are you doing to the ship?
I'm not the one doing it. Spock's gone, Bones. Someone took him from the ship. Some aliens that I've never seen before.
If you can find these aliens, get me a medical scan on them. I might be able to find some way to combat them. Make that a priority. McCoy out.
Is it my imagination, or is Dr. McCoy getting a little power crazed lately?
I'd say a lot power crazed, Hikaru.
Alright,
The doorway to auxiliary control.
take a brief
The
look
way into
around.
auxiliary control is open, Captain.
The doorway to the turbolift. Turbolift monitor. It says that the turbolift is on the auxiliary control deck. Pavel Chekhov is a little nervous right now. Angus Walker wonders how they're going to remove the aliens this time. James Kirk wonders about his friend Spock's safety. Hikaru Sulu has seen more than one attempt by aliens to take control of the ship, and they've always failed.
I'd feel more comfortable, Captain, if we knew what happened to Mr. Spock.
Awaiting orders, Captain.
Well, they say the price of freedom is eternal vigilance.
What does that mean, Sulu? That we should have been more vigilant? How could we, if the sensors said nothing?
Well, maybe if Starfleet sensor designers would be quicker to modify their sensors to react to new phenomena.
You two are as bad as Spock and McCoy.
He's not trying to blame Chekhov for that.
I could use advice. Suggestions, anyone? Spock.
I know, Captain. We miss him too.
Can I look at these?
This screen shows the layout on this deck. The door directly ahead of you leads to the auxiliary control. The deck integrity monitor. Nothing on this deck has been damaged, yet.
Alright, well, let's get into auxiliary control then.
Our highest priority is control of the sensors. We must find Spock.
I'll handle it, Captain. Remember, I was a physicist when I first joined the Enterprise.
Ah! Captain, look! Captain, I'm getting a sensor reading on the alien. I'm sure Dr. McCoy will find this data interesting. Captain, what happened?
It appears our alien friend likes its privacy.
Alright, so... Let's, first let's save here real quick.
Save new game.
And, get this data to McCoy real quick. So, let's go to sickbay.
Sickbay emergency door controls. This passage leads back to the turbolift. The wall of the corridor outside the Enterprise's sickbay. A ship's communications panel. Sickbay life support warning panel. The ceiling of the corridor outside the Enterprise's sickbay. Lighting for this corridor. This is the doorway to sickbay. The sickbay status indicator shows that everything is normal.
Hopefully we don't have to use any of
This
this.
passage leads back to the turbolift. The floor of the corridor outside the Enterprise's sickbay. Ensign Angus Walker. Ensign Pavel Chekhov, Captain James T. Kirk, Lieutenant Hikaru Sulu.
Well, Sulu, when the Enterprise is in trouble, who do they turn to save the day?
And guess who doesn't get the glory?
Or the credit?
Yes, let's not forget the credit.
Stop complaining, gentlemen. And I thought McCoy was a major league grouser.
Don't worry, Captain. If we can't get Spock back, I wouldn't be surprised if he got himself out of this mess.
I'd like to think so, but I fear there are limits even to Spock's abilities. Am I mistaken? Or do I get the impression the intruder could do a lot of physical damage if it wanted?
It doesn't need to. The Antares Rift is doing all the physical damage that is necessary.
Sickbay. I hate sickbay. Why do we have to come here?
Well, Jim, I leave you alone for 5 minutes and look at the mess you've made.
Here's the sensor scan, Bones.
Jim, this says our invaders are Vorians.
Vurians, but they're extinct. They died out at the time that Cochrane invented the warp drive. They were slaughtered in the Three Systems War.
Jim, I know my history, but I also know my anatomy. The alien in auxiliary control is a Vorian. There's only one strange thing.
What's that?
This creature isn't capable of doing some of the things that you described. It's an ordinary Vorian. No special organs, no unusual brain patterns, nothing that traditionally suggests superhuman feats.
Can you neutralize it, Bones?
Actually, it's a female. And yes, I know of something that can incapacitate it without harming it. A gas mixture. You'll have to pump large quantities into auxiliary control for it to be effective, but it should work almost immediately. Here's the gas, Jim. Be careful with it. There hasn't been a Vorian in 150 years.
Alright, let's take that.
Vurian gas engineered to paralyze a Vurian without killing it.
The tricorder indicates this is a neural toxin engineered to affect Vorians. Its effect on humans, aside from its smell, should be minimal.
At least in the short term.
Oh, that'll work for now.
A variety of neutral toxin, Captain.
Okay. Look around.
Medical instruments line the wall of sickbay. This bed is currently unoccupied. This device monitors a patient's condition. It is currently inactive.
I imagine the other bed has a similar dialogue.
This equipment allows Dr. McCoy to quickly synthesize chemicals and save his patients' lives. Lighting controls for sickbay. Assorted medicines are stacked on shelves behind an enclosure. Assorted medicines are stacked on shelves behind an enclosure. Angus Walker, who remembers being in a hospital when he was a child on Earth. Pavel Chekhov, who still has nightmares about the time in sickbay when they conducted close to 50 tests on him, when the others in his landing party were hit by advanced aging and he wasn't.
I remember that episode.
James Kirk, captain of the Enterprise, who never really liked sickbay. Hikaru Sulu, doing his best to remain calm in a difficult situation. Dr. McCoy, who never understood why people get so nervous in sickbay. It's the safest part of the ship.
Hello, Doctor. Nice weather, isn't it?
You're a navigator, not a conversationalist, Ensign.
Yes, I am. And an unappreciated navigator at that.
If we keep having these random explosions, Doctor, I'm afraid your sickbay is going to be overflowing.
I thought you were a helmsman, not the bearer of bad tidings.
I do many things well, Doctor.
Don't worry, Doctor. I'm all right. You don't need to treat me.
Then why are you here?
I'm just with the captain. I'm feeling great. You don't have to...
That's fine, Lieutenant.
Well, Bones, it looks like we have to save Spock in order to save the Enterprise.
That's a tough choice, Jim. Well, Jim, when are you going to bring out the rabbit?
The what?
The rabbit you're always pulling out of your hat whenever things get really grim.
I'm afraid I may have used my last rabbit, Bones.
Alright. Well, now that we have this toxin, we can go down to engineering and wire it into the life control system. That way we can pump it into auxiliary control.
Captain, there has has been an explosion near the shuttle bay. I'm fine. There has been no significant damage.
Any luck communicating with Starfleet Command?
I have made contact with the light cruiser USS Jefferson, sir. It will reach the edge of Antares Rift in 16 hours. The rift is playing havoc with communications.
Thank you, Lieutenant Kirk out.
That reminds me.
Kirk to Scott. Come in, Scott. Kirk to sickbay. Computer.
Let's quick look up Vurian.
Vurians, a race native to Vega 3 with minor psionic talents. They were exterminated by the Antoshi in the Three Systems War.
Okay. Guess we don't care about their homeworld.
Three Systems War, a war in the early 22nd century between the Antoshi and the Vurians, in which the Vurians were exterminated.
Okay, so no information on our relief. No information on the Antoshis. We didn't get... I'm curious. Nope. Okay. That'll make more sense later, but...
This panel gives emergency access to engineering for authorized personnel. Since access to engineering has not been shut down, this panel is not active. The interior temperature is currently 24.1 degrees Celsius, a little warm for your taste. Atmosphere is at 93.8%, well within safety standards. This board is a summary of the ship's engineering status, so that Mr. Scott and the other engineers will have necessary information before they enter engineering. The hull integrity status looks dangerously low. The force field generator containment controls, used to prevent intruders from getting to engineering. They are not functioning.
I wonder if,
Pavel Chekhov, doing his best to be optimistic in a difficult situation.
if we took long enough, if we'd actually have to use these things.
Hikaru Sulu, full of faith and determination.
As the ship gets progressively more damaged.
Angus Walker, going where no security guard has gone before.
Or if they're from a previous iteration of, like, how this mission was written out.
Jim Kirk, as usual bearing all the burdens of his vessel.
Or if, maybe they're going to be used in a later mission.
There's an awful lot of corridors on the Enterprise.
Captain, if we get out of this alive, can we have shore leave?
Well, you hear what Mr. Scott said about us needing to go to a starbase.
Actually, Captain, I had something a bit larger in mind.
Chekhov lives for shore leave.
I do not. Well, maybe a little bit.
Captain, do you think we'll get out of this alive?
I really don't know.
That doesn't give me much confidence. Really, Captain, do you think we'll get out of this alive?
Are you trying to suggest we won't? Will I have to put you on report for threatening morale?
Thank you, sir.
This is not one of my better days.
Alright, let's get into engineering.
The impulse engines of the USS Enterprise. Looking at them reminds you of several times they threatened to break down. Now the engines are running fine. It's the other sections of the Enterprise that are breaking down. Impulse engine fuel control systems. This system monitors fuel usage in the impulse engines. This device stores special chemicals that are pumped into the ship's atmosphere when needed and is operated by the life support system. Deflector control grid. This system prevents the Enterprise from being pulverized at near light speed by micrometeorites. Mr. Scott is wondering how Kirk's adventures are going to affect his poor engines this time. This leads into the Jeffries tube and is sealed due to a hull breach. Life support control systems. This monitors and controls the ship's life support.
Anything different
Life
down there?
support-
Nope. Alright, so let's talk.
Captain, is it too late to put in a request for an early retirement?
Scotty, if we hit any more of these random detonations, it'll be mandatory retirement for all of us.
Actually, Captain, I was hoping for a better pension.
You know, it just wouldn't be the Enterprise without a crisis.
Sometimes I wish space were a little more predictable than it is.
That scared me a little bit. Sorry about that. That was my cat apparently making havoc in my wardrobe.
Well, here we are. The ship is literally falling apart. Space could explode randomly at any moment and destroy the Enterprise, and Spock has been kidnapped by the aliens.
Aye, a typical day on the Enterprise.
True enough.
Mr. Scott looks a bit more frazzled than usual, Captain.
Well, what do you expect, man? I'm not a miracle worker. There's only so much a person can do.
That's a lie. You are totally a miracle worker. In any case, let's hook up this gas to the life control system for the Enterprise, or the life support system.
I wish Dr. McCoy had given me the specs on that gas injection system. It looks like a rather clumsy fit.
I'll do it, Scotty.
You'd think that Dr. McCoy would have some respect for engineering.
Alright, let's start pumping that stuff into auxiliary control.
Let's see how our alien friend likes Dr. McCoy's medicine.
Probably as much as we do, Hikaru.
Mr. Kyle, can you transport me to auxiliary control?
Aye, sir. But I have to remind you how dangerous intership transporting can be. We've really been pushing our luck today.
I'm aware of that, Mr. Kyle, but we have to take the risk.
Look, something's happening.
Huh. Okay, so, he just kind of up and left, so...
A warp impulse energy efficiency diagram. The diagram shows that the warp engines are not currently active. The auxiliary control ventilation duct. This is the auxiliary control view screen. The dilithium crystal lattice monitor. Dilithium crystals are at 89% efficiency. This is below the optimum range, but still acceptable. This station is identical to the bridge's engineering control, allowing access to damage control systems and emergency power and internal sensors. Walker wonders how they're going to remove the aliens this time.
I think we just removed them.
Chekhov is very nervous right now. James Kirk bears a look of steely determination. Mr. Sulu is beginning to worry.
This is the ship's auxiliary helm station. From here, the helmsman can control the ship's shields and its orbital heading. Guess they forgot to program the voice for that one. And this one. This is the ship's auxiliary navigation station. From here, the navigator can enter the ship's headings and ready the weapons in the Enterprise's, fortunately few, space battles.
This station is identical to the bridge's science station, allowing access to external sensors and the library computer.
Oh, it's everyone?
You know, this mission has killed any ambitions I might have had about commanding a starship.
I was hoping the alien would have been more communicative. Why hijack a ship that's already about to be destroyed, then kidnap a single individual, and then say nothing about why you are aboard?
It certainly seemed to have the power to destroy us. Why didn't it just kill us?
I don't know, gentlemen, but we'll find the answer soon, I promise. We have to find out where that alien went. It's the only way to save Spock.
I recommend we use the auxiliary control sensor to see where the alien went.
Alright, well, first let's make sure everything's fine and on the level here. They aren't booby-trapped or anything.
This station is functioning normally, Captain. This station is functioning normally, Captain. This station is functioning normally, Captain.
Alright, Sulu, figure out where he
Everything
went.
seems to be working. Library computer, external sensors.
Mr. Sulu, see if you can find where the Vurian went. Maybe that will lead us to Spock.
Captain, I'm detecting the Vurian. She seems to have vanished through a rift in space. I have the coordinates of her last known location.
Oh, that's all we need. I don't think there's anything else to do on the Enterprise here. So let's head to the transporter room. Come on, where were you? There you are.
Mr. Kyle, you have the coordinates where the alien teleported?
Captain, you're asking me to transport you into another dimension. I may not be able to lock onto you there.
I'm aware of the risk, Mr. Kyle. You have your orders.
Aye, sir.
Energize. Captain's personal log. I have transported to many strange places in my day, but beaming into an alien dimension is something entirely unique. Only the extreme risk to my ship and my friend Spock would cause me to take such a drastic risk.
This doesn't look like a nice place to visit.
There's the Vurian. I don't see Spock.
He's got to be around here somewhere.
Alright, so let's start taking a look around.
Although it looks like common dirt, the ground in this strange place feels softer, spongier. Each footstep you take here feels strange. A pile of blue stones. Strange boulders jut from the depths of this strange planetscape. This is as dark a place as you've ever seen. This dull yellow gemstone looks a bit like topaz. Although it looks... This gem-like stone has a dull orange luster. This blue gem looks something like a sapphire, but requires some polish and cutting. Although this bright green gemstone looks like green-tinted quartz. Although it looks... This red gem-like stone resembles a ruby in the rough. Strange boulders jut from the depths of this strange planetscape. Strange boulders...
Alright, same dialogue.
Strange boulders...
Dialogue.
Although it...
Hey there.
Strange...
There. Okay, so I think we hit all of them.
This blue gem looks some...
Yeah.
This bright green...
So, now that we've looked at everything, let's quick talk.
I hope the inhabitants of this dimension don't mind visitors.
Starfleet. What a career move. I really have been where no man has gone before.
Let's find Spock and get out of here quickly.
You aren't scared, are you?
Not at all. The Russians are just an efficient and very sensible people.
I wonder how many other universes like this one exist, connected to ours by a thread.
According to Professor Tomau's theory, that would be dependent on the number of dimensions shared by the two universes.
But Professor Ondiango's theory would contradict this.
Ondiango has never proven his theory.
But Tomau's theory doesn't explain slingshot effects.
Gentlemen, it was a rhetorical question.
So, yes, you may recall I tried to look up those professors in the database. I actually ran through this entire mission and then found out I did something that kept me from getting a perfect score. And I think it was, I hope it was just the decision to try to evacuate people from the outer decks instead of just putting everything in the hull integrity, but I guess we'll find out. In the meantime...
Captain, there's nothing there for us to exist. The void is like a nothing. Neither matter, nor energy, nor space, nor time, nor the absence of any of these. Captain, may I suggest we rescue Commander Spock first, and then take samples?
We may not have time, Lieutenant.
Yeah, so he does actually give you different dialogue than just scanning it with the tricorder, even though he just scans it with the tricorder.
It's as if nothing's there.
I didn't think there could be a bigger wasteland than Siberia.
They seem more organic than mineral, Captain. Captain, I am detecting a large quantity of these blue stones underneath the surface in this spot. It's a female of its race, Captain. I'm afraid my tricorder doesn't have much information on Vurians. They seem more...
Alright, so that's the same dialogue.
Now this is strange. According to the tricorder, everything around us is organic.
But it feels like minerals to me.
Tricorders don't lie, Pablo.
It could be a deception, Captain.
That is not what that text said.
They seem more...
Alright, so what about these little guys?
Captain, this stone has a cell structure. It must be organic. It also has a wave signature indicative of some sort of psionic abilities. Captain, this stone has...
Alright, so same dialogue, but we'll scan them all just in case.
Captain, this...
Wait a second. Was I seeing what I thought I saw?
Captain, this stone has a cell.
Yeah, that text is written like Chekhov is saying it rather than Sulu.
Captain, this
is kind of a little bit sloppily put together, I think. Oh, in any case, let's go around and use the medical tricorder since everything's organic.
The ground registers as alive, Captain. Almost like some colony life form. It registers a psionic signature. I don't register anything, Captain.
I wonder if we get a different... Nope, okay, it's just Sulu automatically scans it. Alright.
Captain, I am getting organic readings. I can't explain this, except to say that every particle of matter around us is organic and radiates a psionic wave signature.
Incredible. Incredible.
The ground registers...
That's not what I want.
Captain, this stone has a cell structure. It must be organic. It also has a wave signature, indicative of some sort of psionic abilities.
I hope these stones are friendly.
Captain, this stone has a cell structure. It must be organic. It also has a wave signature, indicative of some sort of psionic abilities.
I hope these stones are friendly.
Alright, so same dialogue for all of them, I'm guessing, but we'll be thorough and scan them all.
I hope...
The Starfleet is thorough.
Captain, this...
I hope that...
Captain, this stone...
I hope...
Alright, then we can scan these jelly beans.
Captain,
here.
I am getting organic...
Okay, so no new dialogue there.
Captain... Captain... No effect, Captain. I don't have enough knowledge of Vorian anatomy.
So let's start picking up these guys before we talk to her. It doesn't look like she's going anywhere anytime soon.
Don't worry, Mr. Walker, I'll protect you.
Sir?
Sulu, Chekhov. You know, I may never have told you this before, but I care for you all more than I can tell. Sulu, with your dedication, your unwavering sense of responsibility...
Captain, are you talking about me?
Chekhov, I've always been impressed by your enthusiasm. All those wonderful Russian jokes, your humanity.
Captain?
And you, Mr. Walker, with your rugged determination. I'll bet you had more girlfriends than anyone in the history of the Academy.
Actually, sir, I'm celibate.
What was I just saying?
Interesting. So it seems like these stones are key to an emotion.
This place reminds me of Deneva. I lost my brother there. He was a few years younger than I was, and there were times when he annoyed me.
Captain?
And now he's gone. Gone. I'll never see him again, never tell him... To tell him...
Captain, snap out of it.
This place must be getting to me.
Not quite the place.
I heard that, Mr. Sulu.
I didn't say anything.
You've always been saying things behind my back. You've always said I don't have enough discipline, that I don't respect my crew. You're insubordinate, Mr. Sulu.
Get hold of yourself, Captain.
What on earth was I saying? I'm sorry, Mr. Sulu. That was not...
Captain, I think we better get out of here as soon as possible.
No effect. No effect.
I wonder if I could have other people pick them up and have them say different things, but I suppose that'll be for someone else to try.
What are we doing here? Why did we come here?
Captain?
There's no way back. We'll never find Spock. We're trapped here forever, and it's all my fault. I knew the Antares Rift was dangerous. I should never have let the ship go in there.
Captain?
Let's find Spock.
He's carrying all these in his pocket now. Probably not good.
Why are you reaching for your phaser, Mr. Sulu?
Captain.
Walker, I saw you sneaking up on me.
Sir.
You're all against me. You've gotten rid of Spock, now me. Who's next? Scotty, Uhura? Or are they part of this too?
Captain, snap out of it.
Something is definitely wrong. Such intense emotions.
And now that we all have them in our pocket, we can see what Before we pick up the pile of bluestones, we've seen how powerful 1 is. Let's see how powerful 2 is.
I felt that too.
A brief surge of conflicting emotions, anger and grief.
Did you feel what I just felt?
It felt like jealousy.
I felt it too. I was angry at you. There was no rational reason, but for an instant, I felt like I should be commanding the Enterprise, and you were obstructing me. I don't know why I felt like that.
You don't want to know what I was feeling.
Okay, so that was this one, right?
I felt it too.
You don't.
Yeah. So let's try this one.
I don't know. I just felt desperate, irrational.
I had conflicting impulses. Part of me wanted to attack someone, anyone. The other part wanted to run away.
I don't know about you, but the instant those stones were put together,
I felt despondent. Like I didn't want to live anymore. That someone was out to get me and I couldn't fight them.
Maybe we should leave those stones alone.
Yeah, definitely not a good feeling about these. We shouldn't be touching those if 2 stones are enough to give us suicidal ideation.
The instant those 2 stones came together.
I remembered I had a quarrel with a friend of mine at the academy. I was so angry. I hadn't thought about that in years.
I had a similar experience.
How could I have forgotten about her? Let's not do that again.
I'm sorry, Captain. I just had the most horrible...
I know. I think we all had that emotion.
I'm glad I didn't have a phaser in my hands when you put those 2 stones together.
Yeah, so sounds like just 2 was enough to make us want to kill someone.
Damn that, it's gone.
For a moment, I felt angry. Angry at myself for not moving the ship away from that explosion.
And I felt angry that I had not withdrawn from the Antares Rift. These stones definitely generate strong emotions.
Okay, so not too many more combinations to try
That
here.
was a strange experience. I suddenly thought that the Enterprise was being stolen from me.
I had a similar thought, only...
I wonder what Dr. McCoy is going to say when we bring back samples of these stones.
So I guess yellow is like jealousy of some sort. So combined with the, so green is like recrimination or distress or doubt, something like that. Orange is paranoia. Yellow, I think, is some sort of jealousy. The light blue is, seems to be like depression or grief. And red is just straight out hostility and anger. I forget which ones we did.
That was a strange
experience. I had this...
I wonder what...
Yeah, so the yellow combined with the orange, that's the jealousy with paranoia.
That's odd. I suddenly found myself doubting my ability to command the Enterprise.
I had the weirdest image. I was fencing, and I kept dropping my foil.
And I was... well, you wouldn't be interested.
The instant those 2 stones came together.
That is not who said that or what was said. But yeah, it seems like green is almost like, definitely like doubt or insecurity.
I'm beginning to wonder if I'm losing my sanity.
I don't know what these stones are doing to our emotions, but I don't like it.
No clue what happened there, but this seems like a good place to save. So, now...
Greetings, Lord Kirk. I am Eminata. I regret the discomfort that I put you through on your ship. I wish only to preserve my joy by serving the Savant.
Are you willing to help me, Eminata? Where's Spock? How did you come to be here? What were you doing on my ship? Are you willing to... What were you doing on my ship?
The Savant empowered me to remove any psionically adept being from your ship, and to prevent you from following him. It was not our intention to do you harm.
Okay.
The Savant is now summoned, Lord Kirk. He awaits. Not many footsteps from here. By the fountainhead. Seek him.
Are you willing to help me, Eminata? Where's Spock? How did you come to be here?
I was a lone soldier, fleeing the massacres that followed the Three Systems War. I was heavily outnumbered. In desperation, I attempted to use my son's gravity well to propel my ship into a high warp velocity, so I could escape the pursuit.
I remember reading about that war in my history class at the Academy.
I was warped into the Antares sector. I traveled through a dimensional rift into this place. The savant sustained me and gave me joy where there was once only despair. I have been here ever since.
Well, it's an insensitive thing of Kirk to say. Oh yeah, you were in my history textbooks.
The savant awaits. I am unimportant compared to him. Go to him at once.
I will. You are the last of your race. That makes you very important. Can you talk about the savant? Give us a chance to know what to expect.
Nothing I can say will truly prepare you for what awaits.
Are you willing to help me, Eminata? Where is Spock? Are you willing to... Where is Spock?
The Lord Spock is not far. His mind dances in the bliss of this place. He would welcome you. It is not a long or difficult search to find him. The savant awaits. I am unimportant compared to him. Go to him at once.
I will. You are the last of your race. That makes you very important.
Physical forms are unimportant. A species is only a similarity of material form, constructed from genetic instructions. Only emotions matter.
Are you willing to help me, Eminata?
Possibly. I am aware of your ship's distress. I can bring it to the attention of the savant. It may help.
Actually, I was thinking more about freeing Spock. What is the savant? I would appreciate the savant being informed. Actually, I was thinking more about freeing Spock. What is the savant?
A being found that the physical form impaired his emotions, and so he discarded it as a lord discards his raiment. An entity of great benevolence and joy. Through my psionic talents, we are linked in ecstasy eternal.
Where is this savant?
Everywhere. When one is an entity, one transcends the limitations of space, time, and dimension. But the savant prefers to center its thoughts at the fountainhead, which is quite close. The savant awaits. I am unimportant compared to him. Go to him at once.
I will. You are the last of your race. That makes you very important.
Physical...
Are you willing to help?
Possibly.
Actually, I was thinking, what is the savant?
I think we asked that right.
Actually,
I do not know how I can help you, Captain. Speak with the savant, and perhaps things will be clearer. The savant awaits. I am unimportant compared to him. Go.
I will. You are the
Physical.
Are you willing to help me, Emin?
Possibly.
Actually, I would appreciate the savant being informed.
It is done. The savant awaits. The savant awaits.
I will.
Good luck, Lord Kirk.
Are you willing to help me, Eminata?
Possibly. I am aware.
Actually, I was thinking more. I would appreciate the savant.
Okay, so just in case it's just gonna choose.
You are the last. Are you
possible?
Actually, I was thinking. I would appreciate the savant being informed.
It is done.
The last thing to give us credit for, but I think we've exhausted everything here. So before we get too far, I think I'll just save again.
Save new game. Save new game. Replace.
We'll replace that one.
I am the savant. I wish you and all entities nothing but joy.
Who are you?
Yeah, not liking the vibes I get from this weird psionic orgy they're having.
Why do you ensnare others against their will? Release Spock at once and allow us to return to our ship. Who are you? Why do you ensnare others against their will? Who are you?
Probably the most diplomatic thing we can say.
Once, eons ago, I was akin to you, a creature of flesh and pain. But I released myself from these bonds and became an entity of pure emotion. And I came to this place to find a shelter from the cares of the universe.
Alright, well, let's look around.
The Savant. The remains of a Vurian life support capsule. Although it looks like common dirt,
Same stuff.
strange boulders jut from the depths of this strange planetscape. Strange boulders jut from the depths of this strange planetscape. The remains of a Vurian life support capsule. The remains of
All right.
a pouch from the Vurian life support capsule. Strange boulder. James Kirk, captain of the Enterprise. Hikaru Sulu, the trusty helmsman of the Enterprise. Pavel Chekhov, the faithful navigator of the Enterprise. Angus Walker, sturdy security officer of the Enterprise.
Thoughts, everyone, before we start scanning?
Suggestions on how to get Spock and get out of here.
Not a clue.
Sorry, Captain.
Ditto.
But you lot are helpful.
We need to find a weakness in whatever kidnaps Spock.
I'm afraid I'm all out of ideas. Maybe if we analyze everything, we might think of something.
Why do I have the feeling that a phaser isn't going to solve our problems this time?
Alright, so tricorder readings.
It's some kind of life pod, Captain. I believe it is of Vurian design. It's some...
Same dialogue.
It's some...
Same dialogue.
They seem more...
Same dialogue, so nothing useful there.
The pouch appears to be composed of some sort of tanned animal hide. It's old, but not very warm. Captain, the readings are incomprehensible. The tricorder has no idea what all these waveforms represent.
Alright, medical tricorder. I imagine we'll get nothing from the Vurian ship.
No signs.
Yep, no signs of life.
Tanned animal hide. Similar to leather, Captain. Does not register as a life form, Captain.
A pouch found in the...
Okay, so... Oh, do we get any more dialogue for this?
Fascinating. This stone is giving off a pattern similar to the brainwave pattern of Vulcans and other psionic creatures.
Oh, okay.
Fascinating.
And he's just gonna say the same about each, but we'll scan them all anyways.
Fascinating.
Let's make sure Sulu doesn't have any new commentary on it.
That's interesting. These stones check out as organic matter.
Alright, I'm not going to scan every single one of those. I don't think we'll get any more dialogue from this either. Or insight.
It's just a pouch, Captain.
A blue gemstone similar to...
We'll look at them all in our
A
inventory
red
again.
gemstone similar to...
I think all the dialogue's the same.
Gemstone.
Topaz,
An
orange, and then an emerald, but the albedo doesn't look right. That's different, but it's also not voice, so that seems to be a holdover from something else, so...
Captain, you misunderstand me. It is not my will to bring harm to any creature. I have taken two creatures that are without the most important thing in existence, joy, and given it to them in infinite variety and abundance. The Vurian was filled with despair at the death of her race. She was overwhelmed by sorrow and grief. I have healed her of these afflictions forever. As for the Vulcan, he has been conditioned to deny his emotions. I am bringing him in contact with a part of himself that will enhance his life. It is a gift of love.
You have no right to inflict emotions on any being, regardless of how positive you may think them to be, without their consent. Get a life. You can't just sit around feeling happy for eternity. What does that accomplish? Love? Spock doesn't want your gift. He doesn't need your gift. Release him and let us return to our ship. You have no right to inflict emotions on any being, regardless of how positive you may think them to be, without their consent.
Seems like the right thing to say.
I give them an eternity of joy. Is that not every creature's desire? How can granting a subliminal desire be beyond my rights?
That is the most arrogant piece of presumption I have ever heard.
That's certainly true, but not
An
diplomatic.
eternity of joy. And I suppose you derive no benefits from the people you hold prisoner? Do you honestly believe that because what you do may benefit them, that the ends justify the means? That is the most... An eternity of joy. And I suppose you derive no... Do you honestly believe that because what you do may benefit them, that the ends justify the means?
Yes, Captain. For such a great good as that which I provide, the ends do justify the means. I I will send you back to your own ship and give you safe passage through the Antares Rift if you wish. Welcome. Have you come to ask for transportation back to your ship?
Not without Spock. Savant, isn't there anything I can do to make you see reason? Release Spock, or we will be forced to destroy you. Not without Spock.
Captain, why do you begrudge your comrade's newfound happiness?
Because it was not his doing, nor his choice. Because he's being used by you and held against his will. He has duties and obligations, and you're keeping him from them. Because he's being used by you and held against his will.
I give far more than I receive, Captain. If you truly love your comrade, you will not deny him bliss. Welcome.
Not without Savant, isn't there anything I can do to make you see reason?
Captain, I do see reason. My intellect is many orders of magnitude beyond yours. You should trust my judgment.
I trust Spock's judgment, and you're imprisoning his free will. Savant, creatures like ourselves need to be free to make mistakes and to learn from them. Only then can our intellects advance the many orders of magnitude that are needed to equal yours. Really? I see you have great power and great splendor, but I don't see great wisdom. I trust Spock's judgment, and you're imprisoned. Savant, creatures like ourselves need to be free to make mistakes and to learn from them. Only then can our intellects advance the many orders of magnitude that are needed to equal yours.
But I can elevate him to my level without any suffering. He need not experience the hardships that my race experienced. Is this not an extreme act of mercy?
Okay, so he's not gonna see reason, so let's go find Spock.
Spock, what have they done to you?
Fascinating. Emotional intensity of a previously unknown level. Our link with the Savant acts as an amplifier. The more minds in union with him, the greater the level of emotion. And happiness is a powerful emotion.
Spock, do you want this?
Happiness is a human desire, Captain. I am a Vulcan. I want to be free of emotions. This is the antithesis of my desires.
Spock.
Okay, so we were basically right in how we spoke for him and that Spock didn't want this.
The wreckage of an alien derelict, the Vurian's life support pod. There are 100 archaeologists who would love to be standing with you right now. Although it looks like common dirt, the ground in this... These large, bright rocks seem to have been thrown to the surface of this planetscape from below. Their color makes an interesting contrast with the dull color of the surrounding land. These large, bright rocks...
Okay, so same dialogue.
Mr. Spock, the best science officer in Starfleet. You've never...
Okay, so same dialogue there.
Ensign Chekhov, who never expected to be traveling to another universe. Although it looks like... James T. Kirk, in anguish due to his friend's predicament. Lieutenant Sulu, who has always had a great deal of respect for Spock's scientific talents. Lieutenant Walker, who doesn't really know any of these bridge people very well. Mr. Spock, the best science officer in Starfleet.
Captain, wouldn't stunning Mr. Spock break whatever control that he's under?
Unless we deal with the creature that's doing this, it would only provide temporary relief. We must find a way to free Spock.
Why is this being done to Spock, Captain? What benefit does someone get from subjecting him to an emotion?
We've seen energy forms that feed on hatred. Why shouldn't there be some creatures that feed on happiness? An addict who must have happiness and who relies on others to fulfill an increasing need for more happiness.
Captain?
There have been incidents where Vulcans who were deliberately exposed to emotions went insane. Fortunately, I do not appear to be in immediate danger.
Let's take some tricorder readings of Mr. Spock.
Captain, Mr. Spock is normal except for accelerated brain activity in the areas of his brain that control psionic abilities. He is currently in a mind meld.
Okay.
I shall try to tell you what I know. The emotions make it difficult to communicate. The creature that has done this is called the Savant. A being of great power that has transformed itself into a creature of living emotion. It can form a link with any creature with psionic abilities, including Vulcans. It taps into latent emotions and amplifies them, using them to increase its emotional stability.
What happens if it gets cut off from you and the Vurian?
It would be alone, but could cope. We enhance its enjoyment, but we are not essential to its survival. We're like a backup system. It relies on us for emotional support, but it could exist without us. Captain, I recommend you negotiate with Savant to escape this place. I am expendable.
Expendable? Spock, I see that these emotions have given you a sense of humor.
As usual, your illogic is beyond comprehension, Captain. If I were human, I might find it delightful. Captain.
Expendable? If we can find a weakness, we might be able to take you with us. What can you tell us, Spock?
Its reliance on emotion is its main weakness. It is a creature of intense needs. And despite having millions of years of joy, it still retains a subconscious fear of losing its joy, of experiencing negative emotions. Captain.
Expendable? If we can find... Spock, can you negotiate with the Savant on our behalf?
It refuses to deal with issues of logic and free will. It is not a violent creature, but is extremely fixated on its goals and believes what it does is morally justified.
Expendable? If it's Spock, we found some very strange stones. What are they?
This entire pocket dimension is organic and psionic in order to maintain the Savant's life force. Negative emotions that are suppressed might be absorbed in mineral-like pockets beneath the surface of this dimension.
Right, so that explains what we found.
Captain.
Expendable? If it's Spock, Spock.
Okay.
Captain. Captain.
Spock.
That exhausts our dialogue, so instead of just stunning him with a phaser, because that's pretty inelegant, let's just tranquilize him. That should free him from his influence temporarily, help save his sanity.
I understand, Mr. Chekhov. It is quite logical.
Sure, he's okay.
Captain, Mr. Spock is unconscious. No unusual brain activities. Nothing that you would not expect from an unconscious Vulcan.
Alright, so... go back and see if there's any more dialogue with, what was her name? Eminata.
Greetings, Lord Kirk. I suspect you have come to render me as unconscious as your comrade. It is no longer in my power to resist.
Are you willing to help me, Eminata?
Are you frightened? Oh, that's
Are you willing to help me, Eminata?
I am so full of joy, Lord Kirk, that it is difficult for me to experience other emotions. Even ones I know I should be feeling, such as regret. Do to me what must be done. Greetings, Lord.
Are you willing to help me?
Through the Savant.
Because I need him to save the lives of over 400 people on the ship.
Oops.
Because Spock does not want artificial... Because I need him to... Because Spock does not want artificial joy. He does not want this line.
Very well, Captain. I will help you. Greetings, Lord Kirk.
You agreed to help us.
You have already met the Savant, and he remains unmoved. I am taking the emotions in your mind and broadcasting them to him. Your concern for your ship, your love for your comrade. He regrets your feelings, but his purpose is unchanged. Greetings, Lord Kirk. I am so full of joy, Lord Kirk. Greetings.
Are you certain you can't help us?
I can try. I am attempting to again broadcast your emotions to the Savant, so he can better understand. He rejects your emotions. He says that these primitive experiences should be ignored. Greetings, Lord.
Are you certain you can't help?
I am so...
Okay, so it looks like we tried everything. We tried to be as diplomatic as possible, but yeah, these were coming from an underground deposit, so these must be some of the most negative emotions he has. Hopefully the leather bag will be enough
I've put them in the pouch we found. Oh, am I getting an odd feeling from these stones?
Be enough to protect us. In any case, let's see if we can...
Captain, its anatomy is completely alien. I'm afraid the medical kit will not do much good.
Greetings, Lord Kirk.
Are you certain?
I can try. He rejects your...
But we tried. So I'm gonna save here just in case stunning her.
Save new game. Cancel. Delete previous game. Replace previous. Delete previous.
I think I'm gonna do that, and
save new game.
We don't
Replace
need that.
Previous game.
And then replace that. So let's stun her. That should hopefully safely knock her out.
No effect, Captain. I don't have enough knowledge of Vorian anatomy.
Oh, the question is...
It's a female of its race, Captain. I'm afraid my tricorder doesn't have much information on Vurians.
On the one hand, I want to bring her back with us.
What a career move.
This is the same dialogue?
I wonder how...
Yeah.
But, gentlemen...
I wonder, if we could convince her to come back with us, but it seems like she's in a state where she knows this place isn't good, but she also doesn't want to leave it. You know, like she said, how like, oh, I know I should be afraid, but I don't care. I'm so happy. Or she's at least conscious, and she's tried to help us. It seemed like Spock was able to talk to her a bit. One more time.
Welcome. Have you come to ask for transportation back to your ship?
Not without Spock. Savant, isn't there... Release Spock, not without Spock.
Captain, why?
Because it was not his... He has duty because he's being used by you and held against his will.
I give far...
Well, we tried to be diplomatic, so... Let's just take the, will this see the stones inside, or...?
It's just...
It's just a pouch, Captain.
Alright, so let's see what a pouch full does to him.
You disturb my rest. Fortunately, I am not alone in bliss. Do not use such a tactic again on me. I warn you. What is this? What am I feeling? What have you done?
What's the matter, Savant? Not feeling those good vibrations? Life isn't all happiness and joy. It's time you experienced a reality check. Is that sadness you're feeling, Savant? It couldn't be that those inferior humans have outwitted your great wisdom, could it? Life isn't all happiness and joy. It's time you experienced a reality check.
No. I have spent millions of years trying to escape the anguish. Misery is the destroyer of worthy souls, Captain, and you are destroying me.
I'm not destroying you. Your own unwillingness to respect others is destroying you. Free Spock and return us to our ship, and this will end. I didn't want to do this, but if I have to destroy you to free my friend, I will. I'm not destroying you. Your own unwillingness to respect others is destroying you.
Am I really such a monster that I deserve such pain?
You have lost respect for others, Savant. Everyone may have different goals, different ideals than you, and you have the right to pursue them. You need to respect their free will, even if it makes them miserable.
You do not understand me, Captain, but I am in no mood to argue. You and your scientist may be freed. Enjoy your universe, Captain Kirk.
Captain's log, we are out of the Antares Rift and are on our way to Starbase 8, where the Enterprise has extensive repairs scheduled. All crew members, including First Officer Spock, are safely aboard.
So, Spock, you mean you had an eternity of pure enjoyment and you gave it up?
Affirmative, Doctor.
That has to be the most illogical thing I've ever heard. Humans spend their entire lifetime dreaming of an eternity of pleasure.
As do animals in the field. Perhaps humans are meant to be better than that. Perhaps we should dream of greatness, not simple gratification.
Greatness is a term subject to individual interpretation, Captain. The savant viewed the pursuit of greatness as useless, because all great deeds and accomplishments are destined to be forgotten in cosmic terms.
A cosmic being thinks in cosmic terms, Spock. But somehow that philosophy overlooks a lot of life's little pleasures. There's just one thing that bothers me about the whole thing.
Really, Doctor?
Spock finally got to enjoy himself, and I wasn't there to see it. Now that's something worth remembering.
Message from Starfleet Command.
On screen.
I've reviewed your report from your recent assignment, Captain, and have a few comments. I am very pleased with your performance. It was a perfect mission, Jim. Your reputation as Starfleet's best starship captain is secure. Kane out.
Alright. Alright, so we got a perfect mission. Mr. Spock is back, although the way Kirk phrased his log makes me wonder if... I don't think there's a way to do it in the current version, but maybe in a previous version there was a way to finish the mission without rescuing Spock. Be like, up, you know, go to the many outweighs go to the few kind of deal, but we got Spock back, so that's all good. So, I don't know if this was another test by the Brassicans or just another weird day on the Enterprise, but I guess now we'll, like Kirk said, we'll head on our way to Starbase 8 for some repair and relaxation, because God knows this crew needs it. And checking our log, we see we did earn 4 points, so our commendation points are really getting up there. If there's any combat in this game, then we're going to excel at it, I think. But as it is, we did defeat the Baron of Trelane, despite... or Trelane Agathos, whatever the hell his name was, you know, and he fought dirty, so. In any case, just one last thing, I do wonder if we can look up. Yep, no Emanata, nothing on the Savant, which that was a thing I really liked about, again, 25th anniversary, is after a mission, you can go and look up the things you encountered. I mean, you could do it before the mission, too, technically, because they didn't have any sort of gating system. But, you could look up the things you encountered, and, you know, there would be entries written about them, which I liked. Like, I remember they would have an entry on the... I mean, granted, they knew about the berries before we went down, but they had, in the very first mission, you looked up the berries in the library computer, they had an entry on them. Ones that you used to heal that dude, so... In any case, that will conclude our episode for this week, so with that, thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for next time, and stay safe out there. We'll see you then.